Imagine, if you will, the sights of the world in building brick form. Nanoblock Sights to See series today on World of Stuff. Unlike the LEGO Architecture series, which predominantly features American architecture, the Nanoblock Sight to See series features much more internationally known buildings. Yes, I know that LEGO also produces a Big Ben. I have yet to see anyone produce the entire House of Parliament, but that's just me. Nanoblock also produced an animal series, but for the purposes of this review, I will leave those for another time, as it is not nearly as interesting to see, at least from my standpoint. Now, as for the producers of Nanoblock itself, its designs start from a company in Japan called Kawada, but in the United States are being released through Ohio Art. Anybody who owns an Etch-a-Sketch knows that company. Now, how do these blocks compare in size to other building blocks? Well, here we have a Lego man and a Creo Creon. And if we set these in front of this set here, you get a relative idea as to their size. Although, scale themselves tend to vary by set. Kind of like Transformers. Perhaps you'd like something a little more concrete. Alright, let's get a ruler here. And let's see here now. In inches, it's 3 1/4 inch. And for metric, see now, 8 centimeters. These are designed to fit on a desk after all, so that's pretty nice. Also, since I seem to have a penchant for using money for scale comparison, that's about roughly half the size of a dollar bill. On the back of each box, it contains a small blurb of information, like a paragraph, as to what this building represents and why. For example, here we have the Neuschwanstein Castle, which is located in Germany, which is an example of 19th century Romantic architecture. Those of you familiar with Romantic architecture of the 19th century would know why that's a bigger deal. Anyway, something a little more familiar, the Tower of Pisa with the accompanying lane to it, even a little people on it. However, one odd thing, this is how they recommend the people look. And let's see here now. There we go. This is how I fix them. Because otherwise it'd be like hair, face, body. It's more like body, torso, legs. You can do as you please with it, but still a little weird. Speaking of where you can find these, you do have some options available. You could go to the website nanoblock.com, where you can find the whole selection of what they have available, including the animal series. You can go to toysrus.com, although the selection may vary there. I've seen these in independent toy shops, independently owned toy shops anyway. I've also seen these at Barnes & Noble. So you have some options there. A word of note, if you're going to build towers or buildings, is that the build steps can get a touch repetitive, and you might want to keep something to keep track of where you're going on them. I've had to rebuild the Tower of Pisa a couple of times because of one little part that separates it from the rest. Basically, clockwise exits on 3 of the sides. Something to keep in mind and keep track of. Another thing I'd like to bring up is that they do have larger sets available. These are the Deluxe series and are a significantly higher investment. I've seen at Barnes & Noble the White House set available for $75. They also have sets of the Himeji Castle, which run at about 2,000 pieces, and the Neuschwanstein at about 5,000 pieces and about $160. So it's really up to you how far you want to take it. But if you'd like some international architecture to go along with your LEGO architecture, besides the Big Ben, you definitely have some options there. In summation, if you are a fan of international architecture, or a world traveler, or just like something a little bit different for your desk, these would definitely be an interesting choice for you. And relatively inexpensive. That does it for this review. I am the Deceptiwolf. This has been a sampling of the Nanoblock Sights series. I wish you all good night.